Hey everyone, today I want to bring you a quick review of this Neewer NW-3D-2 smartphone and GoPro gimbal. And I'm going to go through a few different things. First I'll show you what comes with it, then I'll show you how it works, and then I'll throw in some samples with the phone installed in it and what kind of stabilization it shows. So this is just the box we're going to get out of the way. I will start with this really nice case that it comes in. Fully zippered. It has a handle carry, and it has a shoulder strap that I haven't really used because it's quite a large bag, to be honest. But I just throw the gimbal in my camera bag. So there's a couple tools for you to tighten it, but to use it you don't really need the tools. It's only if you want to switch from smartphone adapter to a GoPro, and then you have counterweights. So if you are using a smaller phone or a really large phone, you can change. For me, I haven't needed them yet. I was testing it with a Motorola X. This is a micro USB cable. This is so that you can plug in the charger, which is right here. So micro USB here, and then you just plug this cable into the wall adapter. So I just use my phone cable. So this charger is changeable so that you can put two different size batteries in it if you want it. And the way it works is basically they allow you to use two different size batteries. You can either use an 18350 battery or 18650 battery, two of each. So what they include with the gimbal is 18350, which are these small ones, and they give you 4. So two of them are inside the gimbal right now, and 2 of them are right here spares, and you just install them like this and plug it in to charge. Okay, so because this is changeable, you can, if you were to buy 18650 batteries, you could use those to use that charger to charge them. You wouldn't need to buy a charger, just the batteries. And obviously that will give you extended battery life. So how do you install 2 longer batteries? You would use this extension rod onto your gimbal in between your battery compartment and the gimbal head. This is a second phone adapter or mount that's included. I'm not sure, perhaps I guess they just include one in case you break one. This is the GoPro mount. I don't have a GoPro right now that I've used this with, but I assume that this works with GoPro 4. But you know, this is a standard GoPro adapter right here, so I don't see why you couldn't just install a GoPro 5 also and just directly into this plate. The main thing that's important is this plate that attaches to the gimbal. And then finally, this is an interesting thing that I haven't seen in no other gimbal, and frankly I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But basically you can either put the gimbal at the end of a selfie stick or on a tripod, and then use one end goes on the remote, this end either goes on the selfie stick or the tripod, and then you install the gimbal on top of this and put the phone on. So then you have a wired remote operation for panoramas and things like that. So it's really interesting and new, but right now I've just been using the gimbal for as is. So this is the packaging, and now let's move on to the gimbal. So here's the gimbal. This is a Moto X installed on it right now, and it basically has 3 points of movement. So this is for your rotation, this is for your roll, and then this is for your pitch, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm getting the terms mixed. Let me look at the manual. Yeah, so this is right here is for pitch, which is this movement, and then this right here is for roll, which is this movement, and this is called the yawn, which is this movement. And it comes with a fantastic manual that exactly tells you what each mode is, how to use it, how to install it. It literally takes you 10 minutes to learn everything. I just forget the terminology. And then here is a second GoPro mount, and I think this is sort of like while you're recording your real video which is stabilized, you can attach a second GoPro to record yourself, like a vlogger or something like that, or record what's happening, because this part is not stabilized, but it is a GoPro mount. And I'm going to turn this off so I can show you. So this detaches, and this is basically a stabilizer. So if you wanted to mount the cable, one end would go here and then the second end would go here. And for the tube, if you were to use this, it will go in here, in between this cap and the batteries. Now this is the positive end of the battery, this is the negative. Make sure that you put the positive in towards the top of the gimbal. And similarly with the charger, make sure the positive goes upwards, so the battery goes like this. They specifically say that in the manual, that you could damage the gimbal and or the charger if you do it incorrectly. So that's that. Now let's get into the operation of the gimbal, and then I'll show you how to install a phone and balance it. Okay, to show you guys the operation of the gimbals and the buttons and things like that on the gimbal. So you have a micro USB port right here, and this is just for firmware upgrade, and that's it. You have a joystick, you have a power button and a mode button. And I really like the fact that it has a separate mode button rather than using the joystick, because I've tested the Xeon Z1 Smooth C before, and that doesn't have a mode button, and it was a pain to get it to change modes. So once you have stabilized your gimbal, then if you hold it like this, it should stay in all directions. So I consider this really pretty good. Like, it could be better if you really want to get perfect, but it's good enough. It's not tilting this way, backwards, and things like that. So you press the power button for 2 seconds and it turns on, but it's not stabilized yet. Then you hold this mode button for 4 seconds and now it's stabilized, and it's in mode 1. So in mode 1, you have everything locked. You have your yaw, pitch, and roll locked. So that means that when I go like this, it doesn't roll. When I go like this, it doesn't pitch, it's maintained. And when I turn, it doesn't go panorama. So in that case, I can use the joystick to roll, and I can do it to left and right to yaw. Sorry, I can do the joystick to pitch and yaw. There's no rolling in this mode. Then you double tap the mode button to mode 2, and mode 2 is red, mode 1 is green, which is single tap, and mode 3 is blue, which is triple tap. So in mode 2, you have your pitch and roll locked, and yaw is following. So basically, if I turn, it will follow in panorama, but if I do this, it won't roll or pitch. And I can do roll with the joystick, and I can pitch with the joystick. Okay, you can go quite far, but not quite vertical. And then the third mode, triple press mode button. And in third mode, you have your pitch following, and you have your yaw following, and your roll is locked. So you can roll with the joystick, but if you pitch, it will follow. It's looking down as I look down. And if I pan, it will yaw. And those are basically the 3 modes. So that's changed with this. Now you have a couple of modes with power button. So if I press the power button twice, it will go into portrait mode. Now be careful, don't press the power button like this. Go like this first, then press it, and it will turn into portrait mode like that. And then you can do a selfie video and whatnot. And then when you want to turn it back, press it, and as it's turning, hold it so that you're not putting pressure on the motors, because these are very delicate 3 brushless motors. Okay, So then you have a couple other modes. If I press power once, it does a 180. And I can press it again and we'll come back. And if I press power 3 times, it will do a 180, and then from there it will start and do a 360 pan. So this would be cool to do sort of like a 360 panorama or 360 video, perfectly stabilized. And that's essentially it for the functionality. Now you can imagine with all that sort of different functionality how much you can do for video. I've mainly been using it just in mode 1 to find stabilizing video and following people. But you know, if you have your creative needs where you need other things, then that would be good. Overall, this gimbal is really well made, works really well. I can feel right now, when it's on, you can feel that the motors are working. You can feel it in the handle a tiny bit. And I'm really happy that they included 4 batteries with it, so that you know, if you run out on scene or whatever, you can change it, or you can use bigger batteries. Construction wise, let me just turn this off so that I don't burn out the motors. Okay, construction wise, it's quite nice. You know, rubber padding, quite soft, and there's a lot of rubber there. I think that maybe the finishing and stuff could be a little bit nicer. Like, it looks like a metal body with rubbers glued onto it, versus I think the Xeon one is a little bit more refined. But in terms of functionality and design of it, the newer one is way better than the Xeon. Especially just this mode button alone makes buying this more worth it, because I could not get the Xeon to change modes, and otherwise everything is, you know, metal and nice plastic. The phone mount, again, it's a little bit flimsy plastic, but they give you 2, so you can't really complain. And it's easier to use because you just press this and you can unmount the phone. So I'm going to be showing you guys also how to balance the phone now. Okay, so now I want to show you how you're going to balance the phone. So right now the gimbal is just standing on itself. It can just stand on its own handle, and I have loosened all 3 axes, and I'm going to start showing you how to balance it. You want to make sure that the gimbal is powered off before, so that you don't put any strain on the motor. So first you're going to take this phone mount and you're going to press this bar right here, and you're going to slide your phone in. Doesn't matter how much you slide, just slide it in, and that's it. So you can see, obviously I've made it loose. You can move, so let me just show it to you here. So when you loosen this, that moves the phone up and down, and then when you loosen this knob right here, that moves this back and forth right here. So you can, I think this will be better to show you. And then the final movement, this one, is controlled by the sliding of the phone in and out. So that's the last step. So what you do is you grab the gimbal at this part right here. So you grab it and you see how the phone is tilted. You want to make that straight. So you move it until you can get it straight. Now it doesn't have to be, you know, precision on an atomic level, but you can eyeball it, and once you get a little bit of practice, it's not too bad. Let's try for perfection a little bit. Well, I just went the wrong way. Okay, that's pretty good. So then you lock this in. Okay, so then the second step you want to do is to balance it this way, so it shouldn't roll to the side. So the way you're going to do that, right now I can see this is really heavy, so I'm going to move the phone that side. So I'm going to press this right down here, and then I'm just going to move the phone to the side. So now I move the phone too much on this side, so I'm going to move it in a little bit. And back I moved it too much, so I'm going to move it maybe a little bit more. Okay, now that looks fairly straight right here, and that's the second step. And then the third one is this. So you loosen this and then you move this back here, and then it's still rolling, so you keep moving, and now it stops rolling back and forth, and you tighten it. So you can see how my phone is tilting a little bit. If I bring it up and it stays, then it's good enough, because these are brushless motors, but they do have some friction, so it's gonna stay. The key is that it doesn't move wherever you leave it, it stays. So you can see how it's not pitching, it stays. Similarly, it stays wherever I leave it. And that's it. That's your phone balance. Doesn't take too long. You know, I just did it on video and it took less than 4 minutes. So when you guys are practice, it's gonna take you less than that. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. X mounted on the gimbal right now, and it is not in stabilization mode. I'm going to turn it on now. Okay, now we're stabilized and I'm moving my arms left to right, and hopefully you can see how much it moves and how much it doesn't. Now I'm moving my arm sort of on a pivot back and forth, and this is in mode 1, and this is how fast it turns. Okay, now I'm gonna do press the power button once, where it's gonna do a 180, and then another one. Okie dokie. And now I'm gonna put it in mode 2. And now it's gonna turn as I turn the wrist, and you can see the speed. Then mode 3, where it will turn up and down and roll. And back to mode 1. And this is how fast it goes up and down. So you really have to be kind of careful with using the joystick, because it is quite a fast movement. It's smooth, but it's fast, so it depends on what kind of effect you want. And now I'm just gonna walk to show you what, I'm just gonna do a normal walk to show you what kind of bumps you can expect. Getting closer. Sorry, what I really wanted to do was do this walk outside, but it is like negative 30 degrees Celsius, and as much as I like giving you guys a good review, I'm not walking out right now. So hopefully it kind of gives you an idea. Let me do a little jog to show you what it can do with the stabilizer. And now let me just try to do like the slowest walk I can. Okay, well, hopefully this review was helpful to you guys to see what kind of effect you can. Now remember that the effect you see, the stabilization you see, will be better with smaller phones and GoPros than with Android phones. And if you use a really big phone like iPhone 6 Plus, it probably just won't work. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day.